Good morning from a dank and somewhat dreary morning in Western Washington in December, which is fairly normal to have this kind of weather. And when it's like this, you come to the woodland. This is a classic example of where I struggle. I think there's potential here in this scene. We have this log that has moss all over it. It looks really interesting and it's pointing towards this big tree. So the leading line is obviously the log and it goes to the tree, and the tree is not that interesting, but it gives the eye something to focus on once you get to through the frame. But just the surrounding area just doesn't do it for me, and it's just too much clutter and too busy. I don't like it. But I like the foreground a lot, and those are some of the issues I run into. Can never get all components together in a woodland. I'm definitely no Simon Baxter. So as I walk along here, I thought I would take a moment to share with you some of the people that have influenced me in my 2.5 years of making YouTube videos on landscape photography. And in the meantime, I'll also look around and see if I can find something. But I've got a feeling I might be out of luck today. So anyway, there's been a few people who I watch regularly on YouTube, and I think their work is stunning. And not only that, just the way that they have taught me what I know, and the way that they tell the story of their journey is great. So first up, big shout out to First Man Photography. He was the first. His name is Adam Carnes, and he's from the north of England. And I'll put a link to his channel up above right now. And he was the first person that I watched before I got into YouTube myself. And I love his passion and his energy and his honesty. And he can take a damn good image as well. So big shout out to Adam. I still watch him regularly. Love his work. And he was my sort of first inspiration. Second has got to be Thomas Heaton. Everyone loves Thomas Heaton. He's set the bar for everyone else, in my opinion, just with the amazing photographs he takes and the locations that he is lucky enough to go to. But he just keeps it real, and I've learned a lot from him technically, and also how to make a decent video as well. His videos are stunning, just the way that he puts everything together, the music he uses, everything. So Thomas Heaton, number 2. The next person that I watch regularly and have influenced me is a guy called Peter McKinnon. You've probably never heard of him. He's only got, I don't know, 5 million followers or something. And he is something else. He's great to watch, so entertaining. Love his stuff. When he puts together a documentary, and he did one on, I think it was called The Bucket Shot or something, taken at Moraine Lake. It's just brilliant stuff. And he's for pure entertainment value, you can't beat Peter McKinnon. And I know he doesn't need my shout out, that's for sure. He's got plenty going on for him, but love his stuff. Love is just every video is completely different, and just good to watch, and I enjoy him too. So number 4 is another person who probably doesn't need much introduction, and that is a guy called Ben Horn. His work is amazing. Again, someone else who doesn't need any shout outs from me. Ben's doing just fine. And Ben's work he sets the bar for every category of photography, I think, and videography as well. His work is just amazing. He doesn't produce a lot in terms of everything every week, but when he does, it's a journey. It really is. When you watch one of Ben's videos, he whisks you away and you're right there with him, whether he's in Death Valley or Zion. And he's a large format photographer, and which I don't know very much about, but just to see how he sees a composition and how he works the scene, as they say, is truly great. So and he's my 4th major influencer, if you like. Hate that word, influencer, but he's my 4th. So the last person for me that's influenced my fledgling YouTube career and photography career is Chris Sale. And Chris was really helpful when I first got going. He sent me a couple of messages of support and a few tips on gear and stuff like that, and it was really helpful. And Chris is such a great guy. He grew up not far from where I did in the southeast of England. And the thing about Chris is it's been great to watch his journey over the last few years, well, 2 years, and just to see how his work has progressed. And he recently made the big step of turning pro. So Chris, if you're watching this, mate, good luck. You're going to do great, and I'm really happy for you. And Chris's work is it's just clean, and he gets to the point, and his videos are just fun to watch. So it's just a nice relaxing way to spend 15 minutes just to watch one of Chris Sale's videos. Wow, I'm just not finding anything, but that's how it goes sometimes. I don't want to just take a photo and put it up there just because. I've fallen into that trap before, and you make a YouTube video and you feel like you have to have something to show the viewers at the end, and sometimes that's not the case. In fact, a lot of times I go out and I just don't find anything, and this might be one of those days. So I was heading back to the car, and there's this area here that is these I don't know what kind of trees they are, but there's not a lot of ground cover. Well, there is a lot of ground cover, but there's not a lot of medium-sized trees. So it's the low ground cover and then the tall pine trees, and as you can see, they're all very uniform, and I quite like that. I like sort of some kind of symmetry in a shot in a way. And there's a bit of mist as well in this part of the forest, which definitely gives the shot more potential. Still not sure about it. I found a scene where it looks like the trees are kind of funneling off into the distance. It kind of gives it a real sort of 3D effect. So I found 2 trees to sort of frame the shot, and I set my aperture down to 5.6. I might even go lower than that because the background doesn't need to be sharp. In fact, I think if it's a bit sort of softer, that might make for a better shot. I'm focusing on the main tree, which is the main subject in the middle of the frame, and there's 2 trees next to that that kind of frame it on either side. That's going to be hopefully sharp as well. And so it's 1 1/3 second. It's quite dark in here, considering it's 10 o'clock in the morning still. It's still quite dark in here. So 1 1/3 second, ISO 100, and we'll see how the shot comes out. And I've got my tripod set up as high as I possibly can, so I'm sort of looking down on the lower part of the scene. Again, it gives it more depth. You can kind of see through the shot. So I put a polarizer on the front, and what a difference it makes to the scene. There's a lot of glare in the foreground with the foliage there, but as soon as I put a polarizer on, you can see the difference it makes. Watch this. If I turn it 90 degrees, it just takes all the glare off the scene, and I like that a lot. So I move my aperture open to 4.0, which takes the shutter speed down to 0.6 of a second, and focusing on the main tree in the middle, and take the shot. 2-second timer. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching. As always, leave me a comment. I'll get back to everyone. And what a great morning getting out in the forest. Very spontaneously this morning. And gotta get home and entertain the kids for the rest of the day. So anyway, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.